Hello, welcome to Audrey's Kitchen. Today I'm going to be making pasta alla Norma. This is a recipe from Sicily and it sounds fancy, but it really isn't. Basically what it is eggplant with pasta. But I'm going to be making baked pasta alla Norma. So the first thing we have to do, which I'll throw in now, is the pasta, so we can get that started. I have a penny pasta, so just 1 pound, and we'll get that started. Pasta in. Now we want to cook that al dente. We don't want it to be completely cooked because it's going to be cooking in the oven because I'm making baked. Now if you weren't making baked, you would cook this a little more than al dente. However you like your pasta. If you like it firm or soft, that's how you would cook it. Now normally pasta alla Norma is not baked. You would just put it in a pot and you would eat it like that. I'll show you as we go along how that looks. But then you can take it to the next step and you can bake it. And that's where you'll add cubed mozzarella. Alright, so now that the pasta's in the pot, bring that back to a boil. So with this recipe, what you're going to need is 1 eggplant. A little bit of crushed red pepper. I have a can of crushed tomatoes and also a can of whole peeled tomatoes. I have a little bit of flour in a bowl. This is going to be for when I cut the eggplant up. We also need 1 pound of mozzarella, salt, pepper, and some fresh garlic and some olive oil. So like I said, the first thing we're going to take care of is the pasta. Okay. And while this is cooking, we're going to get started on our eggplant. Now I've washed it, so we're going to cut the top off and the bottom. Now we normally use the skin in this recipe, but I don't like a lot of skin, so I'll peel a little bit off, kind of like a zebra stripe. Just get a little bit. Okay, just a little bit, not much. I mean, you can leave it on. Okay, so just cut it in half. Okay. Now I want to cube this. I don't like it too big, I don't like it too small. Okay. Now these are going to be sauteed in the frying pan. Normally they're just fried in olive oil. I like to coat them in flour. Gives them a little bit of more of a texture, more of a crunch. Okay. So this is about the size that you're looking for. You can see. Okay. We'll do it with the other one. Let's just go ahead and cut that in half. Give my pasta a little stir. Now you don't have to multitask. You can cook the pasta ahead of time. Okay. We'll cut this one up. Now you're going to make these in batches because you don't want them to get all mushy in the frying pan. So we'll do a few at a time. You know, it's got a fancy name, but it's such an easy recipe to make. You know, the names of recipes tend to intimidate people. Cooking is just so easy. Alright, so I'm going to get my other frying pan started. Alright, put it on high. Put a little bit of olive oil in the pan. You have to add more because the eggplant is like a sponge. So we're going to let that heat up. Alright. So while the oil's heating up in the frying pan, I'm going to take a handful of the eggplant and I'm going to throw it into the flour. Okay? You're just going to put enough that you would put in the frying pan. So this is about a cup of eggplant. Oop, one got away from me. So what I want you to do is I want to make sure you shake it out very well. Shake off the excess flour. Okay, so grab it in your hand, toss it back and forth, just to remove the excess flour. Okay. Alright, so that's ready. Just waiting for the oil to heat up. Keep an eye on our pasta. Now once the pasta is done, I'm going to pour it out into a strainer. And then I'm going to be creating the sauce right in this pot. So we don't have to use a lot of pots and pans. Alright, so that's heating up. And we're going to slowly start tossing in our eggplant. Make sure all that excess flour is off. Okay, so we have the first batch in. We're going to throw some more in the flour. Get that ready for when these are done. So you're just going to keep an eye on them. Alright, I'm just going to lower it a tad. I still have it on high, but not too high. I don't want them to burn. I just want them the eggplant to get a nice golden brown on it. Okay. Let's go back to the pasta. So you'll just toss them. You could like start seeing them getting a little nice and golden brown. Just toss them around. And I have a plate that I have paper towels on, so when they're done, I can put it onto the paper towel. I find them so much easier to toss around with the tongs. They're so delicate. But a spatula works great. And you keep getting the eggplant ready. Those are almost finished. So you just want to keep tossing them in the flour. Don't leave your eggplant on the stove too long. Keep flipping it. Okay. It's getting a little too hot, so we're going to lower it. It's about medium. Okay. And then I'll be back when most of the eggplant's fried. So now I finished all of the eggplant. Took a little time because you want to do it a little bit at a time, but it came out nice and golden brown. So we'll put that aside, and we have the pasta already cooked, and that's put aside. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make the sauce for it, and what we need is some garlic. So I always like to put my napkin down so I can clean up easy from the garlic. Okay, so we're going to take about 3 cloves of garlic. Just give them a little hit. We're not going to dice it up, we're just going to slice up the garlic. You could use the pre-made chopped up garlic, just a little less, because that seems to have a very strong flavor when you buy it already cut up. I do prefer the fresh, but I also have that on hand in my pantry in case of emergency. So the napkin, easy cleanup, it's great. Alright, so we're going to turn our pot on. Alright, we're going to put a little olive oil. A couple teaspoons. Get that nice and hot. Start it off high. And then we're just going to slice. Not too thin, not too thick. There's no right or wrong. Just slice it. Again, it's a very easy recipe with a very fancy name. And like I said, the names intimidate people to not even... And then you watch and all the steps in the process. You really have to just take a recipe and make it simple for yourself. Alright, so we'll just throw the garlic in, get that started. Salt, a little bit of pepper, okay. Alright, now that's cooking. I just want to get the garlic a little sauteed. The pan isn't very hot yet. But while we're waiting for that, we can cut up our mozzarella. We need a block of it. I prefer the cubed instead of shredded. That's what the recipe calls for. It's very easy. Now the mozzarella is because it's the baked version. If you weren't doing baked, you would just throw in some Parmesan cheese and you'd be all set. Okay, so now the garlic, very fragrant, starting to cook. I've already opened these. So we're going to have 1 can I have of crushed tomatoes. Add that in. The pan's very hot. Be careful if it bubbles. You can lower it a little bit now. Alright. And I also have 1 can of whole, peeled. Don't like the skin. So let's just dump them in. Be careful because they are whole. And we're gonna be breaking them up. You can get a potato masher, which I find is much easier. Or you can just, crush them up with your hand. I'll show you, no problem. That's how my Nana did it. Just be careful you don't squirt the camera. Alright, so you don't have to crush them up completely, but you just want to break them down a little bit so you have nice tomato chunks. Because the tomato is part of the recipe, so you like to have a nice chunk of tomato sauce. Now I'm able to put my hand in the pot because it's really not that hot yet. I can feel it. And yes, I washed my hands. Okay. Let me just rinse my hand off. Okay. So we're just going to let that simmer while we do. I'm going to put a lid on it because it's bubbling. We don't want to get splashed from it. Okay, so we'll let that go. Then we'll continue dicing. Alright, so decent sized cubes. Kind of like the same size as I did the eggplant. So, I'll show you about that size. Not that bad. Check on this. Now we're going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. It's not going to make it hot, it's just going to give it a really nice flavor. Okay, and now we're going to add some basil. Fresh is always best, but dry is fine. I have fresh frozen from my garden. I save it all summer as I grow it, just so I can have it for the winter. Okay. So I crushed about maybe 5 big leaves. Now we're going to add our pasta. Let me just give you a look and see in the pot. We're not looking to cook it totally now, just get it all incorporated in. So let's add the pasta. Careful not to splash yourself. Okay. Let's mix all that up, incorporate that in. Okay. Now we're going to take our eggplant and we're going to put that in. See, with the flour, you can hear them. They have a little texture, a little crunch to them. I mean, they're going to soften up in this, but at least they have some body to begin with instead of just mush. But that's why I like to add the flour when I'm frying. Okay, so we're going to stir this up. Okay, you pretty much shut the... Okay, now let me get my casserole dish and we'll put it all together. Make some room. Okay, so what I like to do, put some olive oil on the bottom. We're going to put half of this in the pan. Spread it around. Put some mozzarella cubed. Spread that around. And then put the rest. Okay. Make sure you get all that garlic out of there. Try to spread it out evenly. And then the rest of the cubed mozzarella on top. Okay. A little splash of Parmesan cheese. And we're going to put a little basil on top. Okay, as soon as the oven is preheated, we're going to put this in for half hour, 45 minutes. Want it all melted, incorporated, and bubbly, a little golden brown on top. So I'll see you back when we're done. And it's just out of the oven, 45 minutes later. Nice golden brown, nice and crispy on top. If you're a fan of eggplant, this is a great dish. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you try it. You don't have to bake it. You can just minus out the mozzarella and you're good to go. Let's take a look. Very delicious. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.